So I'll see how I get on here with the Highland Cattle at Prestonfield House Hotel. It stopped raining. I have got, it's blue sugar paper, and I've got some charcoal, some thin and thick sticks, and I've got a rubber, and just going to have to see how they cooperate, trying to get a view for you to draw them and for me as well. And I'm not going to draw a scene, I'm just going to draw these cattle, and I'm going to start with their amazing horns. Now, because they're going to move a lot, I think I have to do quite a few drawings, and now it's a shame all I'm getting is the back end of a cow. But the back end is important because it's very sort of square, and it's got a flicking tail. So I'm just going to do lines at the moment, and often when I draw animals like this, especially if they're moving, I try and leave the legs till last, because I find it's easier to fit legs to a body than a body to legs, and the legs might be moving. So there's a back view. I'm just waiting for some pastels because I left the pastels behind. Now it's still got a back end, and look how square it is. So I think I'll just draw, and because it's charcoal I can smudge it and rub it out. So this will just be a good way of warming up. So that's getting its very square back and bottom. It's got a stomach. It's a shame when I arrived they thought I had some food, so they were very interested in me. Now they're not interested. So let's try again. Okay, it's charcoal, so it's easy to rub out. If I get a different angle from them, can you see the one over there? It's tricky when they turn their heads. They're really not interested, but I think some help is coming, and I'll get my son to feed them. So I'm doing that. That's the shape of their horns. They go across and up, and then they stick out. So I'm doing their horns first just to get used to them. Still a back view. How annoying. Never mind, this is what you have to do if you're working with moving figures, moving animals. Then you have to just keep drawing, and maybe have a few drawings on the go. Oh, thank you. Could you get some straw and call them over? Just from over there. Just chuck a bit of straw down. What do you mean? Somewhere over there? Oh, you weren't here when I was here with Inez the other day. Just down on the ground. Would you get a handful and just scatter it in front? Please. Because you never know. Right, okay, now I've got some colour, so I'll try a colour way next time. But this one is turning its head. So its head is a kind of, I think it's almost like a diamond shape. And then not much of a neck, straight along to its back, and then it's very square bottom. Yeah. I don't know, if you could just scatter some down here, it might take an interest in me. And then those horns go forward and up. Alright, thank you then. Okay. So I've got something developing there. It's going to move again, isn't it? So I'm trying to see, or I want to explain to you the different parts. When you draw figures, it's often good if you know about the skeleton. So inside this head is a skull. Inside this body is a rib cage. And then at the back here is a pelvis. So actually, even when you're drawing animals, or if you're drawing people, it's good to learn about the different parts and try and see see that animal in, try and see through to the skeleton. So I've got something there. I think because we've just got to wait for them to give us a decent position. I'm going to try some pastel now, and I'll put some colour into my charcoal drawing, but I'll also try another drawing where I start with the pastel and see what luck that brings me. I know I've got to get good at this because next week I'm drawing at Gorgie Farm, and there may be the same level of cooperation from the animals. So I've got some pastels. This is blue paper, and that's quite a bright orange, a brighter one than I wanted. How's that? It's kind of red. Let's get a brown then. I will use that orange, but first I'm going to fill in some of the colour. And because these beautiful creatures are so woolly, when I fill in the pastel, I'm going up and down with the pastel so that I get a texture which is a bit like their woolly, furry coat. And then I had that orange, which is a bit lighter, and the one that I'm drawing is this beautiful colour. So I'm putting the orange on the top because that seems to be where it gets lighter, where the light catches it, and it catches some of its rib cage, some of its pelvis, some of the tail, and some of the top of its head where the skull is. So that seems a bit of a jump at the moment from the orange into the brown. So I'm just going to take a little bit more of the orange down and sort of blend a little bit. And you can do that with pastels, just one on top of the other. Then I've got the horns, which I want to make a bit more of. And I'm partly putting colour onto what I drew already. Now that's not right, is it? When I look, the horns don't come out of there. So let's take it away. I think I've got to make sure the horns, because the cow was moving, I've got to get the horns in the right place. So you can just change things with pastel, and I encourage you to do that. You put one colour on top of another. I can rub away the marks I don't want, but in a minute I'm also going to put some colour into the background so that those lines that I don't want can just get lost in the background. Now, what else? I think actually it would be quite good to get in something around them. I was just looking and thinking it'd be quite nice to get a bit more of this cow's nose. I would do the hoofs as well, the feet, but actually they're so sunken in mud that's quite difficult. So I'm putting down a sort of browny green. And when I'm doing the background, I'm actually going across the way. I said that when I was doing the fur, the coat, I was going up and down. This time I'm going side to side. And I think that often helps. It makes it look like the pattern of the mud or the grass. And those bits that are up there, probably don't need those horns. I should take some of them away. And then on top of that, I'd like to find a different sort of green, so I could get just a little bit more colour into their muddy home. And I think this green is a bit brighter. So this is good to work with colour like this, because when I put that light green on, I think it starts to pick up on the lighter orange that was on the cow's back, which I do think is a bit too strong. So I'm just going to put some more brown into it. So I think that's all I can do to this one. Maybe a little bit more charcoal. If you want to make things darker, it's great to put the charcoal into pastel. And there, that's better. I've got the head turning round now. It'd be so nice if they came nearer, because I'd really like to do you oh look, a pink nose. Get a little bit of pink. It's got to be a warm pink. So I've got this really bright pink, but I think that's too bright. Oh no, maybe not. There we go. It's too bright. It is too bright. Maybe put a bit of orange into it. Otherwise it looks like kind of lipstick. So what next? I think we need to do a different view, and I'd really like to do. I'd actually really like to do a head. A bigger head. So I'll change my paper. I've got another sheet. When I was drawing the swans the other day, I had prepared some paper with some watercolour paint. So I had some dark brown watercolour paint and some white paper, suggesting that it's a good surface. It's a rough surface, so it's quite nice for pastel. I think if I could get them to come over here, I might be able to do a head. So let me just throw out the straw. Not interested. Right, well, let's try over this way. The black cow might look my way. Look your way. We can try ahead. This one is now looking my way. Something about children and animals. Okay, I'm going to go for a head now quickly. And as I said before, if I were you, when you're drawing subjects that won't stay still, have a few drawings on the go, so that's great. So this head is a bit wider at the top and comes round to a narrower mouth, and then the horns, a bit of them, horns go across and up and then they curve out. So I was talking as well about using the pastel first. So the horns are here, and then below we've got some ears. You can hardly see the eyes, and then there's a bit of a triangular nose there. I think that's the shape that I want. And because it's quite nice to show a neck and a throat, I've been doing with these drawings is putting down charcoal, spraying it, and then putting pastel on top. So I think I'm going to do that again. And when I put the charcoal on, I'm trying to give it some of that texture again of the fur coat. So I'll do that and I'll spray that. And while that's drying, it's just a bit of hairspray. Takes half a minute to dry. While that's drying, I might do a colour one over here. And the way I'm going to do the colour one is I'm going to have my piece of pastel and I'm going to put the side of it on the page and slide it around. So let's do that. So what I'll do is get a shape for the head, and then for the back, and then like I said, I put the legs on last, and there's a tail. Once I've got that shape on, I'm going to do a different shape with the grass. And actually I think that head is a bit lower, so I'm changing the colour shape with the negative shape of the grass. And this one I'm not going to spray, I'm just going to draw into it. And I think because my brown cow has turned away, I'm going to borrow the black one, which actually is a little bit more helpful. So what means this? Having put the colours down, now I'm changing the drawing? Does that make sense? So I'm lost with this. So let's try a little bit of colour in the head that I've been drawing. So I keep on putting on the colour with the same sort of texture, and I'm going to get a little bit lighter. Brown. Now a slightly lighter touch here. Okay, well that is actually a slight improvement. I'm working from memory now, but I can see the black cow's nose. And it seems to have, it's almost like a heart shape above the nostrils. That's a bit too pink, so I'm going to use my orange just to warm it up.
Are they behaving for you?
They're not behaving, no. They keep turning their rear view to me.
So come round, have you got carrots in that bag, no?
No.
Carrots,
yeah, I've only got drawing materials. When I arrived, they were very excited because they thought I had food.
Yes.
But once they clocked,
if we feed them, their heads will go down. So it's Toffee and Treacle. They do know their names.
Oh, okay, right.
I'm a bit concerned that Toffee's sitting a bit forward. See the way she's on the brown one? Toffee's on her front legs.
Oh yeah.
And there seems to be a bulge in her hip.
Oh golly.
I'm just going to take a photo of that.
Yeah. Are you in charge of
I am the general
caring for them.
manager, yes, I'm Alan.
I see, yeah. I'm just doing a thing for children, a sort of drawing lesson. And sometimes I've had some cooperation and sometimes...
You what, sorry?
I'm just recording a thing for, it's like a drawing class for children.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
That's the time, yeah.
We have a lot of children who have been down recently.
Oh, it's great that you let people in to,
Oh yes, yeah.
to wander around and...
Actually, particularly in that first lockdown where it was a lot of people don't have a garden.
That's right, yeah.
And,
so which is toffee and which is treacle? Okay, got it. So this is toffee, or is it treacle? I don't know. Yeah.
and it's a mother and daughter.
Oh, mother and daughter, wow.
So the brown one, toffee's the mother.
Yeah.
But I'm getting increasingly concerned with that.
Yeah. How old is she? I mean, how long do they live?
Toffee's about 12 now, 13. I had a herd before that were all men, and they lived to 21,
Oh, wow.
which is unusual.
Yeah.
And the women actually, whenever they came, they came and bullied them a bit, bullied the old boy.
Yeah.
Pushed him about.
Gosh.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'd quite like to see Toffee move a bit more.
Uh-huh. Yeah, to see...
The stance is very different to the black one.
Yes. See where the weight is.
He's leaning forward a lot, which suggests that back stays a bit forward. I just take a pile of it.
Okay, so I think that's Toffee's head done. Just get a little bit more black into her nostrils. And maybe a bit more charcoal just to find the ears. So that head's worked out okay, but I would like to do something down here. And I think what I'll do is change the direction of this head, because at the moment Treacle is looking at us. And although I'm using Toffee's colours, I think I'm just going to turn Treacle into Toffee into Treacle. And perhaps what I should do is make that orange darker. So I think it's good to show you this because it's good to change your drawings. And sometimes when drawings aren't going very well, you don't care about changing them. Whereas if a drawing's going really well, you get very worried and you don't want to spoil it. So it's quite good to have an excuse to change things. So what I want to do to Treacle is get there's a wider bit at the top of her head, then it comes in a bit and then it comes out again at the snout. And I'm just trying to use the grey, which I'll also put on top, which is my sort of lighter colour. To do that, probably it would make sense to get rid of some of that orange. And then I think I'm going to give it a quick spray, because I can't get much more on. You see, when you spray it, it goes dark. Some of that colour will come back, but once it's dry, I'll be able to darken up some of this. That's not dry yet, so it's not going to work, but once it's dry, it gives me a better surface. And I had those lines just to get the shape of the head. Okay, and I'll get the horns back. Maybe a line under the horns. You go across, up and out and turn a bit. Actually, maybe when I use this, no, it's too light for the, I want a bit more of a grey to get some of the light onto toffee. So toffee and treacle, mother and daughter. So here's my grey. Actually, I think it might be quite good to try some blue. I don't know if that she's almost a blue-black. She's not actually blue, but I'm just wondering if I mix a bit of blue into the grey, I can get some of her colouring. That would be okay if I got a bit more blue into the black. So how now, blue cow? Let's make you a bit blacker. So now I know what I should have done. It's too late, of course. What I should have done was I should have done a blue cow first, the treacle, sprayed it, and then put the black and the grey on top. Anyway, there we go. So I'm not too displeased with those. Toffee and treacle, Prestonfield House Hotel. Drawing them moving, and for that, as I say, it's good to do lots of drawings. Don't worry about trying to get the scene, although it would have been quite nice with the tree and everything. Just get have a few drawings on the go and be ready to change them. And very often, you know, moving animals, for example, will go back to the same position, so you get a bit more information, or else you find that you're drawing from memory. You've got a rough idea because you're looking at them. When you draw, you really look, and you remember quite a lot, enough to finish the drawing even if the animal's moved. Alright, so next week I'm drawing on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday at Gorgie City Farm. So look out for that.